Hi, this is Hiroki Kuro and welcome to Vancouver Startups YouTube channel. And this channel we'll be talking about Vancouver startups and also my experience, my tips as a founder of a startup. So today we're going to talk about a very important topic, that is mental health. So as a founder of a startup, I've seen so many founders and people involved in startups getting burned out. And it's sad to see that people who are very active in the startup community have faded out and gone away, and they're never heard again. So today I'm going to talk about 5 points to avoid getting burned out and 2 additional points I think are very important. So first of all, before we go into the topic, I want to warn all the startup founders that you tend to overwork and you might not notice it, but it eats you up. You think, okay, I need to get this done, and you kind of push it to the limit. Like you do overnight work, you do like overnight work for like extensive days, and you think, oh, okay, I'm fine, like I'm not falling apart, I can still do it, I need to show my passion, I need to push it through. But this in the long run will eat you, so you need to control and manage your mental health very carefully. Once you start feeling that you're not that energetic, or you lack sleep, or you don't have that power in you, that's often the case that you're into a situation that your mental healthness is declining. I'm going to point out 5 points that you should do to maintain your mental health. So number 1 is get plenty of sleep. It seems pretty obvious, but a lot of people sacrifice their sleep or the sweet sleep quality in exchange for getting more work done. This happens a lot of times. So in your schedule, you should have time that you're going to end work and go to bed, and not like browse on your phone or like get calls, receive calls, or answer to emails. You should shut yourself off, get into your bed, get quality sleep, and wake up the next morning feeling fresh. So sleep is the number 1 important item that you should list up. Often the case when you're like not thinking clearly, or like you're depressed and all that, it's often the case that you haven't had enough sleep. So if you're not feeling well, get sleep. It's not only good for your mental health, but also for your physical health. Getting plenty of sleep, high quality sleep, is very important. So get away all your devices, keep your room very quiet, dark, get into your comfortable bed or your futon, whatever you sleep in, and get like 8 hours or more sleep. So number 2 is sunlight. We are animals. We are human beings, but we are animals. So we need to follow nature. So when the sun's up, when it's daytime, we need to absorb the sunlight. We need to understand that we're alive, that we're living in the daylight. So go outside, bathe yourself with as much sunlight as possible. Do this for like 30 minutes or so, depending on how hot it is or how cloudy it is. So for some places, when it gets winter, like the daylight is very limited or maybe none at all, there's some things that you can do. There's this thing called light therapy. You can buy a light therapy light and use that instead of getting sunlight. If you live in a country region that you have sunlight, that you're fortunate to have that, wake up in the morning before you do anything, like respond to emails or anything, go outside, just get the sunlight onto you, like just bathe into it, like for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and that will change your mental well-being so much. So number 2 is sunlight. So number 3, walk or run or do some sort of exercise for 20 minutes. So people who are not like gym people, or people who are like really physically active and do sports regularly, you might say, oh, like, exercise, I don't do that. But no, I'm not talking about going to the gym or doing a new sport. I'm talking about getting 20 minutes, just 20 minutes. Just walking fast would be fine. Getting your heart rate to above 140 is important, and do that for 20 minutes or more. So you can walk like an extra station worth. You can just walk around your block. If you like swimming, that's also fine. You can jog a bit, that's fine. Just do something continuously for 20 minutes, keeping your heart pumping. And that will give you an extraordinary additional energy. This is based on a book called Spark, The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain by John J. Ratey. I hope I pronounced that properly. But this book has a lot of good points, not just about 20 minutes exercise, and a lot of things in the logic and the science behind why this is important. But just to point out one thing that I found was really important was to do 20 minutes or more exercise extensively, to put your heart rate in under 40 beats per minute. So number 4 is eat warm food. This again seems obvious, but you tend to not eat, or you tend to eat cold food. You need to have time to appreciate warm food into your body to make your body appreciate the food and absorb it in an easy way. If you eat too much cold food, it's not good. The body needs extra energy to process that. Get something that's warm, nutritious if possible, and easy to digest, because you want that into your body. Your energy will be generated from that food, so you want to have something that's good and healthy for your body. So eating is important, obviously, but people kind of sacrifice that because, oh, like I'm so busy, I have to do this, or I have to get this pitch done to the VC that's like next day, so I don't really have time to eat. I'm just going to have some coffee or water and that's it. That's sacrificing your physical health, but also your mental health. So do eat regularly. And last one, number 5, is to talk to someone. And talk to someone, if possible, that will listen to you. So when you're getting ill in your mental state, you kind of tend to close up. You start to avoid communication, and you kind of are spinning in a negative spiral. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, oh, like, this isn't good enough. Like, I'm doing terrible. You're kind of speaking into your mind. Like, your mind kind of over controls you in this negativity. You want to talk to somebody who will get you out of there, get it out of your mind, and bounce off your ideas. Oh, I'm having this kind of trouble. Somebody who will listen to you and understand you and embrace you of all your troubles, your mental burdens. And talking to somebody and having that person understand you will be so much big relief. You will understand that instantly. So talking to him, somebody who feels you, understands you, has love toward you, that is very important. And try to find somebody, a few people if possible, and surround them with you. So if you are struggling, you can talk to them saying, oh, I'm having such a hard time trying to find product market fit, or like this product is like so difficult, or this team is so difficult. Somebody you can trust, you should talk to them and like open up and feel so good about that. So those are the 5 tips about maintaining your mental health, but I want to add 2 more things that will be important. Well, number 1 is to build a trigger. So what I mean by trigger is often the case is when your mental health is declining, you don't notice it. You get ill, people around you will actually notice it before you, but you yourself sometimes cannot detect that. So you need to find a way to self-detect yourself if you're going in a negative spiral. So for my example, from my own experience, I have a trigger that if I skip a meeting without noticing it, that means I'm in a bad mental state. So immediately I will postpone all the meetings that I have in my calendar. I'll try to pass on my tasks to other people in my team. I'll just try to clear everything from my calendar and on my desk. I'll just, clear everything up. Create space so that I can kind of breathe in and get away from that. So I'll do that immediately once that trigger is pushed. So you need to find your trigger, what your behavior is, what happens when you're in that mental illness state, when you're kind of falling into that. What kind of things that you start missing out? What things, what kind of silly errors you make, particularly in that sort of situation. You need to find that, and you need to be able to notice that, so that building a trigger is very important, so you don't fall into that state where you no longer can have any control over what you start thinking about. So building a trigger is additional number one. Number two is building a team that is open to failure, to like talking about mental illness is important. Like if you have, like as I mentioned, like in the tips number 5, that you want to have somebody you want to talk to. If you have people around you already, your team members who are open and are very who care about you and love you and have a lot of love, that is a lot of support. So when you build a team, you want to care about your team members as well. You do the same to them as you want them to do to you. So if they're struggling, if you see that they seem to be, their mental health is declining, you want to reach out to them. You want to say, are you okay? Let's go out and eat. Maybe I can help you on that task. Be open to them. Try to help them. And like have an environment that people can discuss failures openly. Like, oh, this didn't work well. Oh, okay, but that was a good try. Have this positive environment that people can talk about their failures, their discomforts openly. So they don't have to hesitate. They don't have to pull all that negativity inside themselves and try to capture that and control that within themselves. So the 5 points and 2 points additional about mental health, especially for startups. This doesn't really apply only to startups, but especially for startups and startup founders. I really hope you succeed. I'm here for you. If you have any questions or you have anything that you want to add to this video, please write in the comments. And if this was useful for any sense, please press the like button, subscribe. I'll be posting more videos about Vancouver startups and about tips for startups to succeed. So see you then. A huge amount in your health.